Welcome to Introduction to Game Production. I'm Jim. In this lesson, we'll discuss the maintenance phase of game production. Let's get started. So we had a successful launch and we're ready to proceed into the maintenance phase. And the maintenance phase looks a little bit different for every project. And depending on the needs of your project, the maintenance phase may last a significant time. In fact, it typically lasts as long as your game does, or until you decide to abandon it.
Bye-bye.
So it's important that you understand the needs of your game going into this phase so that you can set the requirements appropriately. So during the start of this phase, we want to make sure that we define the deliverables for this maintenance phase. We want to establish a phase timeline. We want to define a meeting cadence, and we want to ensure that we define team responsibilities. Now, every game is going to be a little bit different, but the first deliverable that we want to define is an ongoing maintenance plan. How will your team support the maintenance of your project to ensure that the game continues to be the best possible product? You may also want to consider future updates or DLC for your project, and these would be deliverables that are defined during the start of your maintenance phase. Maybe your game has a competitive online structure and you want to set up seasons or quarterly events for your game. These would also need to be defined during the start of this phase. And then we want to define any ongoing marketing collateral that we would need to advertise our game to the public. And of course, every game and every product in the world needs some level of customer support. So you want to define the ways that your customers and your player base can reach out to you and your team. Now, when it comes to setting the timeline for our maintenance phase, we want to consider patches and minor update schedule. So this should be regular bug fixes, minor updates to balance gameplay. We want to also define a cadence for major updates or any rotating seasons within our game. And when we're considering these, each major update, DLC, expansion, and other things that fall into the category of a major update should be treated as a new product launch, and they should have their own timeline and deliverables that are assigned as part of the maintenance plan. Any update to your game, whether major or minor, would fall under the umbrella of the maintenance phase. When it comes to meeting cadence, at this point you may have a much smaller team and resources may have been allocated to other products. But as the producer, you still want to define a regular meeting cadence within the core team and also giving regular check-ins to your leadership or your management or your investors to keep them in the loop on all of the updates that are being made to the game. When it comes to team responsibilities during the maintenance phase, your programming team is going to be spending time fixing bugs and creating patches to your projects or making minor updates. Your design team should continue to validate the gameplay using the GDD, but they could also be designing new features or improvements for your game. And your art team could be creating bug fixes or making updates to the art assets. Your QA team should continue handling incoming bugs, and you as the producer would manage the maintenance schedule, ensure that regular patches are being handled appropriately, and your marketing team will continue to provide marketing support. And I want to give you another challenge to pause the video and do some more research. And the questions I would like to ask you are, what is the typical life cycle of a game? So how long do games typically remain relevant to communities? How long do teams typically provide ongoing support? And how does this vary based upon different genres or different types of games? And what types of games require significant resources during the maintenance phase? And what games would require less resources? And you may want to ask yourself what category your game would fall into. This will help ensure that you have the appropriate resources available to provide ongoing support for your game during the maintenance phase. So pause the video now, take a few minutes, and I'll see you when you come back. Now, at some point, every game will eventually leave the maintenance phase. So we want to make sure that we plan a maintenance phase review meeting at this point. If there is going to be any ongoing maintenance or any ongoing community involvement, do we have the plan in place to support that? Did we stick to the proposed timeline? Did we stick to the budget of the phase? Do we need to maintain any ongoing resources for this project? And are we ready to proceed into the evaluation phase of our game? And like all of the other phases, we need to make a decision of whether we want to stop production of the game. Do we want to continue in the maintenance phase and continue to provide that ongoing support? Or are we ready to proceed to the evaluation phase? And this is what we'll discuss in the next lesson. Thanks for watching.